Very special edition today, boys, and I think it's very fitting that we do this in Dubai. I think we've been for a long time now who's been following the journey here at the FBA Brand Builder, the Let's Go podcast, that we do it in the heart of Palm Jumeirah. I wanted to bring you two boys on because not only have you been a massive part of my life, but you're a massive part of the FBA Brand Builder, and I just think it's very fitting to sit down here and be the rawest and realist. A lot of people don't see it about us. They see the success, they see the posts going up, they see us and they think, I think a lot of people out there do see, coming from Northern Ireland, think we're a bunch of dickheads. They do, but, and it's like, because, you know...
Speak for yourself, Darren.
You know, but, you know, in terms of that, because the reason why I know that is because, like, I used to be one of them dickheads. So, anyway, I want to turn it over to a lot of you guys, and probably even Jason first, because for 3.5 years we've been doing this together, but now we're in the heart of Palm Jumeirah in a $60 million house. Like, where would you have been 3.5 years ago? Like today, 3.5 years ago?
3.5 years ago, I couldn't afford a weekend in Carnlough, if I'm being honest. No, I had never had a holiday for 5 years, working on a decent job. I liked my job, but just run of the mill, Groundhog Day every day. You start chasing the money, and I wanted a quick fix, and that just makes it worse. And then I could never get anything, couldn't get any further forward. So, yeah, this is.
How long were you doing it for?
What?
How long were you in your job? You were in the swimming
pub? I was in my job for 16 years. I only got a promotion in year 15. So you were just trying to kiss people's asses to try and get promotions. You probably would have done the job better than anyway. And then once someone got it, everyone's stabbing each other in the back to try and climb to the top. It's a horrible setting to be in. But instead that, I'm always trying to be positive, and I was always grateful for my job even then. Always was. So I was always, well, I thought I was relatively happy, but there was a reason it came to the weekend, and I was drinking and gambling. I was trying to fill a void that I didn't.
For a lot of people, you know, watching this here, and you know, like whenever you say gambling and stuff, like the trouble, like you know yourself and how bad it would have been. You've been in the bar with him, and he've been sitting, you know, where's Jason?
Hitting the poker machine. It's hard as I think
you always thought
the harder you hit it, the more chance you would get a win.
Here's the fucking crazy thing about poker machines. I could have sat and put £500 in a poker machine for a £100 jackpot.
and then once you won the jackpot, you would put it back in again.
Back in. So
try and get it again.
That's what I'm saying. I think I was just filling a void of some sort. I'm not sure, but yeah. And there was a reason why I never went on a holiday for 5 years, because I gambled it all. I was looking for quick fix, get rich quick, and it just doesn't happen. Doesn't happen. And we're still not anywhere near where I want to be. But I mean, compared to 3 years ago, and the question you asked me, just have a look around you, folks. This is my third time here this year.
Yeah.
Third time in Dubai. I was in Florida last year. Went a honeymoon in Greece.
Some trips away.
7 trips away. Been to 3 Arsenal matches this year.
Do you think that ever would have happened if you were still in your job you were in before?
No.
Why not?
Absolutely not. Because, well, one, it probably wouldn't have been financially enough, and then because it wasn't, I was spending what I did have to try and get more quickly, and I just was caught in that vicious circle. I did try and go down, climb the corporate ladder, you know. So I always thought I need more money. So I thought the only way I can do this is go and get a degree and get a promotion. So I done that my last year, and I got the promotion. I got $4,000 a year extra, and I was sitting in the office one day, and I was like, I've done this and I've done this and I've done this, and I thought I'd be happy now. And I was like, I'm still not happy. What more do I want? And there was just something else there. And then that was the switch in me. I thought it was a more money problem, which it is, but I had to be happy in myself first. I thought getting that promotion would make me happy, and I needed to get happy in my role first, then the promotion would make it 10 times happy. Does that make sense?
100%. Well, in terms of you, Ryan, as well, like you're completely different. Well, it's very unique. You're two different stories. A completely different story. Like 3.5 years ago, like where were you? Like if you could rewind 3.5 years ago, like tell people exactly where you were.
So my story's similar enough in terms of I had a job since I left school. I worked in Wrights in Ballymena, building buses, probably a lot of people that maybe will be listening to this at a time would know that as well. But so I worked in there for 16 years. Or no, sorry, 13 years. You were 16. You were 16. I was 13 years. 13 years I was right, so I was 16. Mine's, to be honest, is maybe slightly different, right? Because I wouldn't have said I was unhappy. Okay, maybe I wasn't like the most happiest person in the world, right? But my life was good, right? I had a nice car, I had my own house. I was married, started a family. Like, I had everything I really wanted in life. Like, you know, I wasn't ever really in a bad place. The difference with me is maybe I similar to you a wee bit, Jason. I had a wake up moment. Darren, whenever you started to doing this, and I sort of looked into it, and mind that time we sat in Costa and we had the conversation about it, and I mind coming home and just having a think. It was like, I'm 30 years old. I am married, I have a family, I have a house, I have a car. What else is there? Is this it? And that's the moment then I had in my head that I was like, do you know what? I'm going to fucking make a go of this. I'm going to go and I'm going to do this because I'm going to go and try something different. And if it works, it'll change my life for the better. And if it doesn't, well, I had a go at it. I tried. At least I'd done something to try and like just be getting into that way of, like I said, working 9 to 5, living for the weekend, going on holiday once a year. It's like I'm 30 years old and I feel like I had completed it. Now, I wasn't unhappy. Again, it's always much stress that I had a good life. I was okay, but I was always of the mindset, I was like, this can't be it. I can't be content with this. There has to be more. There has to be some other things that you can get your teeth into, that experiences to come and be able to take my family to Dubai sometime, to my family to Florida, the way we all did as a team. I want to now go and experience that for them, to show them how to do it as well, that it can be done. And yeah, like I said,
I think I was one step behind you, so you were happy.
Yeah.
I was one step behind you where I wasn't.
Yeah.
So do you know what I mean? I was chasing that.
Yeah, you were that to get to that stage.
That would be the difference.
See, transparently, see in the very beginning, like, everybody would have done this, built a brand from the very beginning. You'd been the last person I ever thought would have done it. Like, even my friend grew up and here it was, and like as you said, you had a good job.
But I think because I was content.
Life, you had a good daughter.
Yeah, I was fine.
You had everything.
Yeah.
And you know, for me, it was like all left field. That, you know what? Hold on, I ain't going to do this. But for me, I genuinely believe deep down, if it were anyone else, you wouldn't have done it. Yeah. For me, the biggest belief is that you know, like, you had no reason as well to believe that like this was going to work. I could do it, you know, and then not to the level we do it today, but that was the biggest thing for me, that you didn't do it to go start building the brand. You believed in me. I could lead you to. But
Darren, I actually think you're maybe been a bit humble there, because you're right. The reason I done it is because of you, and I did believe in you. And like you're saying there, I had no right to believe in you. Darren, I've known you over half my life. I know your personality. I know whenever you put your mind to something. I know whenever you get after it, you will not lose. You will not stop. Totally agree. Will not. You will find a way to make it work. So it was like, I actually find it was quite easy to put my trust in you, because I did know you, and I know a lot of people that maybe will be watching this or listening to this maybe wouldn't be able to know that, but you know, I did know that personality, and I don't, and I think this whole company that we've been building, that everything the FBA Brand Builder stands for, is sort of built off that integrity, that sort of work ethic of losing's not an option. 100%. Right? And find a way to win, and that's ultimately I think the whole business is built on.
That's going back to what you said, and about you've been in your job for 15 or 16 years, and everyone's in the corporate world or in a job, and they're all trying to lick each other's arse. They go in the morning time, and they generally don't like each other. They go in there, they do their work, and they go home.
Sort of suffer it.
The biggest thing that what we have built in there is that don't ask you where to be, don't ask you what to wear, if you want to go on a holiday, you give me notice what we're doing. And what we are building this, and don't get me wrong, we have our ups, we have our downs, we have our disagreements. You know, you say things, but ultimately when it all comes down to it, like as we found out very recently, that we're very, very close, and I don't want anything to ever come between that. And you come into the office in the morning time, I fucking don't know about you guys, like, and see it, and you're walking, and you're whistling coming in the morning time, you're smiling coming in the morning time, Jason's fucking coming in the door, like, you know, after in the morning time, you know, doing in the gym. But that's the most, you know, the money, the lifestyle, the fucking everything that comes along with it. What we built together. Yeah, people on the outside of it, you look in and they say like, "Look, them boys, the FBA Brand Builder, what they're doing." I'm telling you now, they would do everything and more. They would give up anything more. They'd give their left arm to be part of what we're doing. Maybe not building a brand, but what we're doing as a whole, it's
going to work with your best friend, your best 100%. Mate, every day. Say, we'll go home early today with your best friend. Whatever you want.
And very much, Jason, as well. Like as Darren, as you're touching on, it's like
your day one.
That culture that. We're so fussy's not the right word, but you're so like true to who you bring into that business. Like it's like if the guts or something there, or like it's not. I can assure you, it's not the most qualified, because I wouldn't be sitting here, right? I left school with absolutely nothing, I went straight into a job at 16, an apprenticeship, because I didn't really want to do school. So it's definitely not through the intelligence, or it's through the culture.
If you were sitting here with all the millions in the world on your own, or with someone you didn't really like, 100%. What's the fuck's the point?
No, 100%.
What is the point?
100%.
Do you know?
I wholeheartedly agree. And you know, speak to a lot of people in this space. You know, the higher and higher you get, and you speak to these people, and they have all the money, they have everything, and you can actually feel their energy be talking to them. They're completely broken inside.
Yeah. Like, and that brings it back to me saying you need to be happy first, and in a happy circle, then make the money.
Yeah.
100%.
Then it's after that, well, you'll have the world's your oyster.
100%.
I thought there was one as well, just whenever you were touching on, going on them holidays. And Darren, you asked Jason there, like, would you have been doing that there if you were in your last job? Like, would you have been able to go on your holidays, and would you be able to go and do all that sort of stuff? Financially, yeah, probably that's going to come into it. You can't go away from your job. You can't go on 4 or 5 holidays a year, because you have to be in your work. The difference with what we can do here, and again, I tell this to people all the time, it's in our programme, and even people that are maybe wanting to come in or thinking about it. The money is good. The money's one thing. Absolutely, listen, money makes the world go round. We need money. You need money to do things, right? But you need time and freedom to
100%.
go and do these things. What's the point in you going in 100,000 year job, 200,000 year job? But you have to be there 60, 70 hours a week.
Stress to the
So,
max.
right, and okay, like stress and the time and the work, you're tired. You don't have time to go. As long as I have my laptop and as long as I have my phone, I can go anywhere in the world. We're sitting here right now doing this podcast in Dubai, and I've probably go and check, I've got sales coming in through the door.
100%.
Right? Nothing changes. I don't have to ask anybody. I don't have to do anything. As long as I have my phone and my laptop, I can take my business anywhere in the world. That's the most special part.
And I don't think, this is the biggest come up, like, people don't understand, and the most amazing thing is that you're in the cusp of fucking doing $1 million, a million pound a year company, you could say, $1 million, £1 million a year in a short space of time, building a brand with a few products. Jason, a couple of months ago, your brand done over nearly close to 200 grand in 1 month.
Yep.
I think people on the outside of that who's been in business for 20 or 30 years should actually look at us and be massively inspired.
Yeah.
Even if you've been in business for 20 or 30 years, people have been
Absolutely.
trying for a long, long time. Take a leaf out of our book that, we look after people, we pay them well. We treat them like family. We do things for them. We go to war with them. Like, we join in. Like, friends, I always said this: the people come in the morning time, and I feel as if that they've lost sight of the vision. They start taking things for granted. They're finished. They don't care who it is, and I need to protect that. You come in the morning time, and people can feel a certain type of way, but if you come in and I can feel the energy, and I'm like, it's dumb.
If you can feel it, everybody can feel it.
100%.
And then everyone's down.
That's
and
why.
then, and then you're corporate, and then you're back in the role that you're unhappy in, and you're just going back to all the things that we got out of.
I think a lot of that but comes from when you are in them environments that won't be the case.
Yeah.
Like, you'll never have to have that conversation, I don't believe, with somebody, like, because whenever you're in them, like, you won't ever, that feeling will never come. You will always see the vision. You will always love being what you're doing. You will love doing what you're doing, love being what you are. So I don't think that'll ever be a case of, like, do you know what I mean? You're never going to be in that situation of unhappiness, thinking, like,
Just you remember going into the old office and all, and the manager or the boss you couldn't fucking stand. You like a cup of coffee, boss, and just give me a promotion, please. I'm down. You didn't even like these guys, and you're in there kissing their arse.
I seen you going into his office last week. No coffee for something. Funny you say that.
Yeah, but I like him. But that's the point I talked about earlier. Actually, it's a massive change in me from business and where I am now. I was going into that office, or I was even family and whatever in closer circles. If they had a good job, they had more money than you, I automatically give them respect, and I was going in there trying to impress them, hoping they would like me. Now, if I went in that same office, that's it. I just look at them. I'm not sure if I even like them. I don't have to try and impress anybody now. And I'm not sure what exactly has changed, but it has, and that's where I'm at right now.
You see, over even the last while, especially, or even over your full journey, I don't even on a business level. I'll even start with you, Ryan, first. But what's the biggest thing that you have learned about yourself over the last 3 years that you didn't know before about yourself?
It's a tough one. You learn a lot in an entrepreneurial journey. Like, it's something that you don't think you can. Well, there's no roadmap to it, right? There's no book to say this is how you're going to feel it this day, and this is how this, and you're going to come over it. You're always trying to get better. You're always trying to learn. I always had a winning mentality. I think that's something we always talk
100%.
about. It's a major thing again, being part of the team and things like that. Like, I had a competitiveness thing, and I think it's maybe not even so much as maybe what I've learned. I think I'm proud of myself more than anything, because I've put a lot of hard work in. Probably had doubts. Probably about it. I've had doubts every day. Am I doing the right things? Could I do more? Have I made the right decision in the business? And things like that. And transparently, having Ryan as a partner, it's amazing. I would encourage anybody that's thinking about having a partner. Don't be wrong, I would probably prefer 100% of the profits, but 50% is still all right, right? But there's a lot of power in a partnership, and for a lot of his goods and my bads, we sort of complement each other, and we're really, really good that way. But so in terms of like things I've learned, I've learned a million things like about myself, about business that I never thought I would probably ever learn in my life. It's quite hard to sort of just put it, but it's been a hell of a journey, like, it really has.
The biggest thing that I've learned about you in your 3 years, and I suppose looking back on it now, when I play football with you and I've grew up with you for the last 10, 15 years, I didn't realise at the time, but I realised it more and more than ever, that you're a natural born leader. Looking back on it now, you don't, you're in your circle, you don't understand it, but how you deal with people, you're charismatic, your energy, your motivation, and that's why you and Tweed are so good together. Like Tweed on the other side of it in terms of operations, in terms of being the numbers, in terms of being the back end, where Tweed transparently lacks that. He's come on leaps and bounds. That's why you two come together and have built $1 million a year brand in such a short period of time.
I would always have said as well, and you're touching on like sort of being a leader and things like that. I always sort of like, with football and things, I would have aspired to be sorts of things. And this role and what I'm doing, and you're talking to people and fixing problems, and like dealing with people's emotions, your own emotions and stuff like that. That's probably one of the things that I never really liked people. It's not that you don't like people, but like I wouldn't have been that guy that would have been like talking to random people, or like like random people in the workplace. And I'm sort of like taking at that. I would have just put my headphones in, done my work. Like I was a bit sort of, but don't get me wrong, on a football pitch it'd be quite loud, and I always had that side of me. That's something I think I've come out of my shell in terms of the business, is adapting to that leader role, and is being able to talk to people. And again, probably I'd like to think I do a good enough job at it. I probably impressed myself that I can actually do that, and I actually enjoy it now. Like, if no problems that's not a good thing. Like, problems are a privilege. We always talk about that, right? The problems are there to be fixed. Be lucky you've got problems to fix, right? Because you could be back in there putting them doors on them buses again. So get on with it, right? And it's like, so that's it's probably one of my biggest probably come-ups is I agree with that.
I totally agree. What about you, Mr. McKay, in terms of like what's the biggest thing you've learned about yourself?
Well, the first thing was what I learned about business, which kind of relates to my answer, was how tough. I wasn't expecting it to be so emotionally tough. I don't know, I thought naive, maybe thought it was going to be easy. Like, I was always willing to put the work in, is what I mean. That was never shy of the graft. But I wasn't expecting the emotional side of it. And now, to answer your question about me, what I've learned, that I would be quite emotional inside. I don't show it. Claire actually says I'm emotionless. I just don't show it. I hide everything. So that's probably a weakness I'm still working on. But I've now at least learned it about myself. I absorb emotions and I hold them in and I keep them in. Maybe that's to protect Claire, family I maybe don't like. Other people experiencing what I'm, so I'm trying to lighten that load. Maybe is what I'm doing. But you go home at night, you're lying in bed overthinking things, and this is tough. What if this doesn't work? If I'm doubting this, and I never thought I would be that guy. I used to be laid back and chilled and not a care in the fucking world. But I still am pretty chilled to a point. But I do let the emotions get to me a lot more than I ever thought I did.
Do you know, son, the biggest thing that I've learned about you over the last 3 years is because that's how resilient you are. And what I mean by that is, transparent to me, we've known each other for years, but I think it's fair to say over the last 2 or 3 years we've got really, really close. I've actually got to know you on a level that I didn't really know about you. I think you got to know me on a level that didn't know to me. But I'll never forget the day that you launched your very first product, and after about maybe a couple of months, and after a while, like, the refunds were coming through, the profit margin wasn't there, we were launching the lower ticket items, and looking back on it now, the product was never going to do. And it was your first failure, and it was a big failure at the time, because you put all your blood, sweat and tears and money into it. And I remember we were in the group at the time in the FBA Brand Builder before it really became the FBA Brand Builder, and it came up like Jason had left the group. I thought to myself, I can understand that, for you to put everything into it, and suppose looking back onto it, like the emotions got the better of you.
Yeah.
And you took your break, and the FBA Brand Builder was only starting to take off. There was only me, Jordan, and Ryan, and the other Ryan. Only 4 of us in the office. David came in at the time. I remember driving down the road down to Slimish. I was going, and you said you had seen me that day.
That's right.
I remember I was up Slimish, and I don't know what come over me. I was up halfway up the Slimish mountain, and it dawned on me, I need to ring Turbo here. and I rang Turbo, and I says, it just came to my mind here, like, Jason has to be in the FBA Brand Builder. We were getting bigger and bigger and bigger really, really quick, and you've come through the experience, you can go through the failure, the suffering, and the moment we reached out to you, and you never looked back. But looking back on it, if you didn't have that failure, would you be part of the FBA Brand Builder?
Yeah.
Would you went on and built a 200k a year, 200 grand a month business, $1 million a year business? Would we become really close? In terms of failures, like failures is absolutely fucking necessary.
Yeah.
Necessary, and beyond the reality that people can even understand. Like it really is.
As you say, it was a massive failure, and I quit temporarily for that 2-week break. I was like, fuck this. I did. I let the emotions get to me, and I practically gave up. But then something just switched. I seen Fast Ambition, and it was working for them, and I was, if it fucking works for one person, I'm not giving up. That was the light bulb moment. So I said, let's get back on the fucking horse and find a plan and get this back on the road again. And I did, and they were here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I openly admitted it. For that period, I quit. I gave in. I said enough's enough. But I'm now proud to say that I dug in and got through it. So I didn't quit. I just took a break, is what I say now. So I just took a break for a few weeks, back on the horse, and now the rest is history. So
I think even the biggest thing for you two as well, and transparent the three of us do, is over the last 18 months how much our emotional intelligence has come on, and we're dealing with people. If something comes at you straight away, not being as reactive.
Mm-hmm.
I think me and you's very similar around in regards to that. Someone would come in, and it's not that we're very aggressive people by any stretch of the imagination. It's we care, and whenever someone maybe potentially tries to take away your family, or someone tries to hurt you, or someone tries to bring you down, or does something that's, or maybe someone comes into the business and aren't happy. It's tough, but the biggest thing is the emotional aspect of it.
Yeah.
We're taking a step back now, and and realizing that the emotions can't get the better of you. See if you can't control that, and you said it today. You can't control anything. You can't. You see your business or whatever. You're not getting the sales or whatever it is, or someone comes in. You're fucked. Yeah. Totally fucked.
I think whenever you said that as well, and you were talking about your emotions, like we have it at the start of the program, and I emphasize it whenever people are coming on the program, they come in and they build their brand with us. The first stage is all about mindset, and it's in capital letters, most important stage, and it is because you are going to have bad days in business. It's inevitable. I don't know any business person in the world that has 365 days every year. Every year is good. So you need to be able to deal with them bad days. You need to be able to deal with them setbacks, and that'll be the difference: the people that stay here and the people that fall away, the ones that can't take them hits and keep going, because they all come to everybody. And like I even tell people, like they're building their brands and they're getting to the launch stage, and it's like, I feel like they can relax. You can never relax. You can never take your foot off the gas. You can never ever.
That's actually only the start.
You're only getting started, and like even now, like me and Ryan, we're 2 years into building our brand. Still every day you still are always looking to improve. You're always looking to push it, and again, it's a mindset, it's emotional. It's like, if you have a bad few days, what are you going to do about it? How are you going to fix it? If you get a bad review, are you going to go and cry? No, right, well, how do I fix that? Be humble enough to go and say, well, why did they give me a bad review? Go and speak with your supplier. There's always things you can do. Take accountability for it. Do these sorts of things. So again, like the emotional side of business is
I think that's kind of where I was as a student. Emotional, I couldn't handle that. I thought I could, and then bad reviews, you say,
few returns, sales are dipping,
it's not working, etc. You're 2 weeks in, give it time, and that's kind of correlates with the. If you think back when we first started there, what I said was, I underestimated how hard it was, and that's probably what's happening with a lot of people.
Yeah, we spoke about that there just off air there before we started.
It's not fucking easy, like it's tough.
And I said to you, there's a saying in business that I love, and I use it now in everything in my life, and I think it's an incredible bit of advice that I would give to anybody. This too shall pass. This too shall pass, because if you're up there, be humble enough to know you will come down here at some stage, and you'll go back up there. So like, don't get too high, and that's so cliche to say that, I know that, right? But don't get too high and don't get too low. It could not be more true, right? Like, this too shall pass. No matter if you're cloud 9, enjoy it, but it's, you know, it's going to go, and also then if you're in the bottom, to come on back.
Touching on what you said as well, where it'll be in business, will it be your family, will it be your friends?
Literally everything.
It's for absolutely everything. This too shall pass.
100%.
You know, and things are going really, really good. I think we've got to the stage now, like, holy shit, right? What's coming here?
What's
There's
next?
something that's going too good, and whenever it's bad, like you have the emotional intelligence enough to know, like, ride it out after every storm. You come through, and at the end of it, do you want to know, son? You're fucking 10 times stronger.
Always.
Really
As you said, it
It's
works in grief. You lose.
Yeah,
You get your heart broke.
100%.
It's
It
not
happens in
everything.
all aspects of life. It's not just business. It shall pass.
You're
Everything passes.
talking
Give
there
it time.
about growth, Darren. I always think it's a good sort of analogy for whenever you're talking in and around growth, and it's like whenever you're going through a really, really tough spell, I would actually come in times with you, Darren, I'm thinking, like, I'm stressed for you, and I nearly think there's a wee part of you enjoys it, because you know you're going to come out the other side of it better. You know, you're like, right, I'm going through a tough stage here, and I'm going to be coming out the other side of it. I always like the analogy I was going to say, it's nearly like whenever you're coming at the end of you play in a video game and you come to the end, you have to beat the boss to get to the next stage.
I talked
Right?
about that in the call,
And how good's that analogy, right? So you're coming to the end of the level, you have to beat the big guy to get to the next one, and that's your growth, right? That's you getting to the next step. That's you leveling up. And I think there's a wee sick thing in you. I think you enjoy it. I always see it.
Like, it's, and you're 100% right. And there's days you'll come in here, and the Darren 18 months ago, if a problem will come into the business, and I'm like, holy fuck. And like, I think my biggest strength is, and you know, if something does happen in the business and all you guys are sitting in the office and fucking massive fires come into my lap within seconds, I'll come out of that place and into the office and I'll maybe whistle, and you wouldn't even know. You wouldn't know. And then, don't get me wrong, sometimes in the very beginning that would have been written all over me.
Yep.
Now it's got to the stage now and it can be developed. But as you said, no, you're 100% right. I get to the stage now where I'm not stressed and thinking, I don't know what to do with myself. I like fixing problems. I like helping people. I like getting through the other end. And as you say, like, I know once you fix that problem, you become stronger.
But Darren, can I ask, what's it like when you do go home and you put them all out and you're protecting all us and all these fucking fires are in your shoulders? You hide it well, so we don't really know. But what is it truly like behind the scenes when you go home? What you maybe don't want to tell me completely on it, but
No,
what was on in that head when you go home? And how do you deal with it?
I'm very transparent and very, very real on it. I go home and deal with it the exact same way everyone else does. The only thing is, though, I lie in bed and I try to figure it out. Like, it's people can go there and let the pain, and I use it as fuel. If somebody can run into the business, they're not happy, or somebody could say something online, or something the team has fell out with me, or they begrudged me, or done something in the back end. And the one thing I will always do, and people don't have to agree with it, what I want to do, I will always do what's best for you guys. I always do what's best for the business. But to answer your question, like, I have no other choice. Like, I'm not just here running the business. I'm building your future and your life. And if you're coming after me, you're coming after my people, and that's a different feeling. Far, far different feeling. You can come after me, you come after my people. That's whenever, poke in the bear, as they say. I will do anything to protect my people and use guys. And as I said, it's a good analogy. I do this all the time. See, in the very beginning, if you're going to start any journey, and let's say, for instance, you're going and people's throwing stones at you, someone's throwing rocks at you and shouting names at you and throwing fucking things at you, it hurts. It hurts. Halfway down your journey, people still throwing things at you, but it's like, you need to become numb to it.
Toughened up to it.
Yeah.
Now when you get to the end of your journey, towards the end, some of the stuff now in terms of resiliency, like I suppose the question that I said using the very beginning is, going back to that, was like, what's the biggest thing that I probably learned about myself in the last 3 years?
Yeah.
I always knew it, but I didn't realise to the extent. I used to always feel guilty for always wanting to win. Anything. I got to the end whenever I play football, and as I said, I hate losing more than I love to win. That's where I'm at, and it's like, whenever I lose, it's like, it could even be like in the race to the swimming pool, or me and Turbo going a race down like whatever it is, and I'd be sitting going up there and going, I'd be pacing up and down going, why the fuck did he beat me there? Like, and that was always my mindset. And I was thinking, but then if you look at every single person who fucking is massively successful, they have obsession to a point where it's not normal. It's and I just realised that you could say it's very unhealthy. It really, really is. But I know more than ever now that I've learned that I genuinely believe in 1% of the word in obsession. Maybe not in wealth in terms of being successful, but what you say, I believe it more than ever now that if I want to go on and achieve something, it'll not be because of anything out around me external. I will figure it out. I will figure it out. In terms of the fires you say come into the business, I lay out of bed at night time and I'm like, wherever it is, I will figure it out. There's nothing that's come into this business world or our lives, wherever it is, that we haven't figured out.
I think that's one of your main traits of something that I do find it easy to trust in. You can trust, all them times is you will figure it out. You always figure it out. You've a real knack of problem solving. Like even goes just onto the next stuff of like, even on the Amazon side of things, like you would even go on and even things that you don't know, you'll find it out. There's always an answer, right? There's always a way around it. Again, if you never give up, you never stop, you'll find a way.
100%.
It's a trait probably I need to try and learn from you.
That's, obviously we're a few of our brands and being in partnership and all, we've got multiple businesses now in partnership, but I genuinely believe that's why we do so well as a partnership too, because, and I had it with Joy too. Joy's a massive part of our lives, still is, and he's been a massive to our development. And suppose the one thing about you is that I'm very creative and very visionary. I always want to go bang, bang, bang. But like one thing you do as well on the side is like bring a bit of logic to it. Bring a bit, Darren, do this and do that, and you do need both of it. Yeah. As much as I say like I want to go here and just let me go, I think obviously when we reflect on it and things like that, you do need your yin to your yang, and you really, really do. And I suppose if you even look at your big timers like Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos and things like that, they still all had their mentors. They all had their people looking up to them. They had business partners and other things. But that's why we work so well together. But I think as you too, Ryan, like for me, like I am a visionary, and I think these guys always call me a crazy bastard at times.
No,
I remember us going to Orlando, Florida last year, and I put the post up to say that we had achieved $1 million for the year and got the award for it. I remember you put a post up, and under the post saying, I remember saying to Claire about a year before this happened, year and a half, that if there's anyone that's going to become a millionaire, it's going to be him because he's a crazy bastard.
I did say
I mind you put that up.
You talked about the million, and Claire, you want to be a millionaire, and Claire was like, she always does, like, will he be a millionaire, do you think? And I says, if there's anybody that I know is going to be a millionaire, it'll be that crazy bastard. And I was right.
Yeah.
I was only ever wrong, remember, sure, once, and it was in P1.
Even then, I don't know.
And even then, it was the teacher.
Here's a question I want to ask to both of you. And I want to ask you first. In terms of where the business is at right now, in terms of like your brand and all is doing incredibly well. In terms of being a multi-millionaire, in terms of having everything you've ever dreamed of, and in terms of having everything that you want for your family in your head, do you think you're going to have it?
Aye, 100%.
Like, what is it you want? Like, where, like, why do you do what you do? Like, where do you want to be in 3 or 4 or 5 years from now?
You probably all know as well how much family's the big one for me, and I want to give my family, I touched on earlier, the experiences that I've had already, only small ones. Now that's not my main goal, is just to go on holiday to Florida or Dubai and these places with my family, but I'm always just going to keep striving. I think it's quite a hard one to answer in terms of where do you want to be, because each time you level up, it's nearly like you want more. It's like, now, I'm content and I'm happy, and that's ultimately I think is the main goal. Are you happy in your life? Like some people might be happy with very little money and some people want more money, but I think in business and what we're doing, I always want another product. I want to try and keep growing the brand. I want to keep pushing it. I think it's sort of limitless to where you can actually take it. It's like how big do you want to take it? Ultimately I want to try and get an exit. I'll sell the brand and that'll be, then I'll go again. Like, do you know what I mean? It's like even if you get a big payout or you get a big, I still love doing what I'm doing, and I still always like trying to get after that and go in that direction. So in terms of sort of where I want to be, I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing. I'm enjoying life, I'm loving life, just keep striving for more success, see where it takes me.
Awesome. Like, and I genuinely believe in probably the next 12 to 18 months you'll sell Fast Ambition for multi-millions.
That's the goal.
Well, between the two of you, it might not just be an easier decision, but I have no doubt you'll sell it for multi-millions. I think that people see this and they'll think, how could you sell it for millions? Like, as we know in this industry, it happens very, very, very easily.
Yeah.
See, I get that, but darn it, people's not in the industry, so they don't know. So I get it. Like, I get people that maybe don't understand it or don't, looking in from the outside and they maybe don't see everything. I get that, but you said it. We're in here. We see it week in, week out. We see people doing these sorts of things, and Jason, you said it earlier. If they can do it, why can I not? I have that mentality.
And it's and like, you see all these people talk about Amazon, FBA, and Amazon sellers, like, transparently, and even us respectfully, fuck Amazon.
Yes.
And what I mean by that is, like, we're brand owners, but what we do is, like, in terms of Amazon sellers, we're far from that. Like, we use Amazon's logistics, their service. Like, you don't need employees, don't pay rent, pay rates. Everything that comes along the headaches of running the business. What we're doing is we're using them to obviously go on and get sales, but also do everything that you don't do outside of a business. And, like, yes, by the way, respectfully, fuck Amazon. We love Amazon, but like, we're brand owners, and like, how big this is going to get now with TikTok Shop, with with them partnering now with Amazon, Brand Builder, influence and marketing, everything that comes along with that. That's just people just see that you're Amazon sellers. We're far from that. We're called the FBA Brand Builder for a reason, and we're going to change so many lives in the process.
We've only scratched the surface, I believe. We're only getting started. We're not even anywhere near where we need to be, and that's the question you asked there. Where you want to be? A couple of years, was it? And that's got me thinking. Yes, I'm admitting that you have to be happy and content, but you still need to keep chasing your fucking dreams as well. I don't mean
100%.
happy and content and lie in your hole.
Yep.
And just don't do nothing. Lie and happy and be appreciative and grateful of what you have, but you can still continue to drive and get more goals.
Where do you want to be in 5 years' time? Like, 5 years, in business is a hell of a long time. But if you could wake up 5 years from now and you're sitting, where are you at? Who are you with? What money have you got? Like, what is it?
Well, that's the time. Financial freedom's always a big one, which I thought I wanted to be. This has changed recently, actually. I changed. I thought I wanted a villa in Europe somewhere, which I do still. But I had into my head, 2 or 3 years time, we'll sell the brand for millions, and I'll just go and lie in the sun lounger in the villa. But after 2 or 3 months of lying in that sun lounger, that holiday's not a holiday anymore.
Yeah.
You're just bored. And when it came, we were in Cyprus there at the start of the year, and me and Claire were walking along, and I looked into an all-inclusive hotel, and I just looked, and it was like a morgue.
Yeah.
All these people, about 70, just lying in the sun loungers, just vegetating. So I still want the finer things in life, but I don't think it'll ever end. If you get the exit, I don't think we have it in us to lie in that sun lounger for 6 months at a time.
No
what's
way.
next? We need something. So if you asked me that a year ago, it would have been to go and sit up in the sunset and sunbathe all day. Now it's have the option to do that when I want, but after a tough month graft.
Yeah.
And always do.
You need a purpose, like, Ryan. Like, you.
That's exactly purpose. Purpose is the
You were
purpose.
very, like, we were very successful when we played and together as a football team, and it's very funny now that we're now in together in business, and we're absolutely dominating the business world as well. But like, for you, Ryan, like, I would say your career has come to an abrupt end because of your knee injury, and like, now you don't have it. It's like, obviously you're replacing where it's at, but you need purpose. So like, imagine you go and sell your brand for millions.
Yeah.
Like, and Jason says there 2 or 3 months and you're on the beach and you're like, you need to be problem solving. You need to be getting your mind stimulated. You need to be under pressure. That's the whole, it's very cliche talk. It's fucking not the money. It's the destination. I know it's very cliche, but the more I get into the business and the pain and the suffering that comes along with it, that pain, that suffering is actually the most enjoyable part.
Yeah.
Not the fucking money you get into the bank account.
I told you enjoy that stuff. I know it. I see it in your face at times.
And then that's what I'm saying, when you do get to lie on the beach for 2, 3, 4 weeks, you feel like
100%.
it's a treat, and can you imagine 6 months of that? If you hadn't had that pain and suffering or stress and grinding, and it just becomes...
I think as well, like success is different. Everybody sees success differently. Like, some people see success, of maybe a 9 to 5 and have a family and a house, and that's the success to them. And listen, absolutely, each to their own.
I always say.
And fine. And other people see success as having millions in the bank and villas all over Europe and things like that there. Ultimately, I just want to continue. Again, like, I just want to keep being happy. I just want to keep being happy. I want to keep growing. I want to keep pursuing things. I want to keep having purpose. And And absolutely having the time and the money that comes with it. Like, again, we talked
I'm
about that as well.
For the finer things in life.
See, I'm not. Well, I know that. I always talk heavily around it's the time and the freedom. It's time and freedom to do whatever you want. That's the goal for me. To be able to do what I want when I want.
Yeah,
you know, that's financial freedom. But it's not the money that's the amazing and watches and it's the time to go and be able to do something we want. And I feel I've got that more than I've ever had because of the business that I have. So it's the nature of the business that I actually love it more as opposed to that. Watches are nice too.
No, but as well as that, like it's fair to say, like, where we come from, and in fact, probably around all the world, like people look at you now, especially in Northern Ireland, that you are very successful in terms of what you're making now. That you're making more money than majority of people in Northern Ireland, hitting your bank account every single month through your business, through obviously being part of the FBA Brand Builder, through your brands. But as you know, what comes with that, there comes with hate, comes with jealousy, comes with envy, and like, you know, along your way, you've all got your fair share of it. So like, how do you deal with that?
It's tough. I probably found it a lot tougher in the beginning. You would have seen comments from people that maybe not like good friends, but like, you know, people you would have seen and you would have spoken, said hello to, or maybe seen in the pub, or, you know, and I would have seen comments and they, I'll be honest, they hurt. They did hurt. They did hurt me, and like even people that I don't really care for, but they still hurt. Yeah, you still see them.
Think about it. How fucked up is this? If the town we're from, I've walked into places and they go, "Oh, there's the millionaire." You know, nearly like it's made me feel bad for trying to be
like
a millionaire.
I'm trying to slag somebody for being a millionaire.
Well, I've had it too.
Think about that for a second.
Yeah.
Oh my God, there's the millionaire. Wow. He's trying to make a better living for his family.
What the guy said to me as well one time, I had joined the program and I put it up that I was doing it and stuff, and the guy messaged me, "Oh, here comes the next big millionaire." And I was
like entrepreneur.
I was like, well, I hope so. The next big entrepreneur millionaire. I was like, well, I'd like to help. But thanks for it. Is that a compliment, or are you getting at me for trying that? Or it's so strange. It really is.
Thankfully, we don't let that get.
But well, that's what I was sort of going to say in the beginning. Now I don't listen. I don't think anybody likes to people be talking bad about them and things like that. But now I find it inevitable. People's going to have problems. People are going to have issues. You can think what you want. I understand. I'm just going to stay in my lane. I'm just going to do what I'm doing. I'm make more money I've ever made in my life. I never thought I would be in this position. Like I said previous, I'm just going to keep going, doing what I'm doing, and just I try not to acknowledge it. Don't be wrong. I don't think it's ever going to be nice. Some people are maybe find that easier to deal with than me. I don't like it, but ultimately I'm in a position now in my life where it doesn't. I don't care.
Yeah.
If it's not as like, you know, my circle went from there to there. Right, you know, people I don't probably speak to now, and it's not as if I fell out with them. I haven't had a fallout with anybody.
Yeah,
you just drift away.
100%.
You just like don't need these people. Like they were drinking friends, or they were like, you know, even like people you played football with and stuff. Like because I just don't like them. You just don't see them anymore, and you just sort of stick with the people that are going your direction.
100%.
And you know,
people
it just happens.
Toxic people are just like toxic habits. I had to get rid of the toxic habits, but I had to cut the toxic people as well.
Yeah.
And that usually as distant friends, but I've seen recently that can be, and I'm not speaking personally, but I've seen it elsewhere, that could be your very parents. That's toxic. And I don't mean cut them, get fucking rid of your parents, but keep them at arm's length and don't absorb any of their toxic negativity they're trying to put into your head.
I done one whenever I started this. Excuse me. When I started this here, I didn't tell my mum. I never told my mother I was doing this. I love my mum. Best woman in the world, right?
Hey, Mum.
Hey, Mum. But I never told her I was doing this here because obviously there was a financial investment. It's going to take time. She didn't know anything about it. And what my mum would have been saying to me is, "Ryan, are you sure? Oh God, it's an awful lot of money, Ryan." You know, and I don't need them doubts.
That's what I'm saying.
I don't need them doubts. So it's not like you're saying you're not cutting somebody. You're not removing them from your life. But if you just have to sort of move away from that part of it, and I go Ryan and we talk about family and we talk about over dinner and stuff like that. But I didn't do that. Then when I launched it, then I could show her, and I was like, "Look what I've been doing the last sort of 6 to 8 months. Look, this is I've been building. This is what I've got. Here's my brand. This is my product." And she was so proud of me, and she was like, "Oh, amazing! You know, fantastic. It was a really nice moment." But I just know she's a warrior, and she wants the best for me.
And
that puts doubt in your head.
That's the reason your mum, or all mums and all parents, want you to be safe and secure, and they want you in a nice job, earning a nice money, and that's why middle class people stay middle class because their mum and their dad's forced them to go to university.
Well, that's all they know.
To get their nice job. They get 50 grand a year and everything's great.
Like
And
outside of that as well, it's not even the hate, but I suppose it comes along with it. You know, we get to have 100 success stories, and you might have some people come through the FBA Brand Builder, and some of their products don't do incredibly well in the very beginning, and then it's like, oh, it doesn't work. Shit. But one thing that I love about you is that you said it very, very well. Is like, don't tell me it doesn't work. I'm sitting here building $1 million brand.
Yeah.
I've got people around me making thousands, millions a year.
Yeah.
Don't tell me it doesn't work.
Yeah, I totally. So I would always say that there. It's like, nobody will ever tell me that Amazon doesn't work, or it's too saturated, or all you hear likes all these here things. Amazon's an incredible machine. But ultimately, what we touched on earlier, we've now a TikTok shop. We have a Shopify store, which we actually had a few sales on yesterday, which is pretty cool. Now that's going to take a bit of time to build. Again, it's the next project, right? But Amazon will always be the home because of just the pure volume on there. And as long as I can continue, I feel like me and Ryan are very much the sort of the creating the path for a lot of it, like, because we were the first. I always try and tell this to people though, just because we're doing so well doesn't mean you can't do better. We're only doing so well because we were the first, so we're the furthest on. So it just also shows you time to be patient. It takes time. You're growing your baby, you're growing your business. Do you know what I mean? But because we're so far on it, who's to say you don't get there quicker?
100%.
Right? It's not because we're the best or the biggest. It's because we're at it. We stuck at it.
That's why people give up. People can't fathom the fact that they see you and they're doing millions in your brand, right? $1 million a year in your brand, whatever you're doing. Why am I not there? And then it's like, fuck this doesn't work. Get emotional. Then they'll go out and hit the drink. Then they'll go on a wee holiday. Then they'll go do this and they'll go do that. And they'll stay away from the business for 3 or 4 weeks. And go back, that didn't work. But then 3 or 4 weeks is you should have been absolutely giving everything and more.
Yeah.
And then what happens? Your business starts going. Like, holy shit. And during them 3 or 4 weeks, the pain and suffering happens in there.
Exactly.
And you have built $1 million a year brand.
We didn't give up. And do you think we didn't have hard times? Like, we didn't think we had times where we were struggling for sales, or you get a bad batch of product, or you get there's things happening in the business. There's
you had it in July back in 2023, and I'm going to be very, very open and very blunt about this. You just come into my office. I remember sitting you both down, and you and Ryan were talking amongst each other about something costing £40. And I was thinking to myself, what the fuck are they complaining about £40 to go somewhere for the Korea it was or something for the water slides? I thought to myself, something's not right here. So I brought them into the office, and I remember saying to them, boys, what's going on with your brand? And it all came out. I was like, oh, we went on a holiday here and took money out of the business here and done this. And I goes, boys, using the fucking early stages of your business or brand, you're fucking living like millionaires. And go out and you had about 3 or 4 holidays there, and it was like, you had a turn back moment there though. Your turn back moment was like the money you had made, and it was like, well, what do? You figured it out.
What? 100%. You
doubled down even further. And went into that in the rest of the months in the Q4, and it completely turned your whole like, and look at 2024, you had a record breaking month. You launched 2 new products, and granted this year you're sitting here with 500 grand in revenue, sitting into Q4, getting into the millions into the new year, and you had a turn back moment. But that was the biggest lesson for you too.
It was a massive lesson in business, a massive lesson for me, and something I'll always now pass down to the students in the program and anybody really in any sort of business is, we were taking too much too soon. There's no doubt about it. I think it's a good lesson to have, but it was a vital lesson to have, right?
Yeah,
and it was an inevitable lesson to have, because I never had money, Darren. I never had money, right? I always worked in a £300, £400 a week job where you paid your bills, you got your holidays, we've talked about, right? So I just got by. I wasn't hard, but beat up for money, but I wasn't, I didn't have them. So then whenever you turn around and you're starting to get thousands into your bank account a month, on top of everything else, of course we're spontaneous to spend it. Like, you know what I mean? I've never had that sort of money before. Like, so we were lifting all this money out of the business, putting it into our own accounts, going on our holidays, buying nice clothes. I've got 10 pairs of trainers inside 2 months, right? And I thought it was fantastic, but I don't regret doing that either, because then I realised, hold on, how are we ever going to get another product on the go if we're spending all our profit? Because we're lifting every night. We should have been keeping that money in the business and going and getting that second product, because I've now seen the power of what 2 products, 3, 4 products can do, right? It just multiplies like that there. So it was a great lesson to have, and one I don't regret doing, because it was a good couple of months too. And don't get me wrong, by the way, I'm not saying you can still you can still take you can still take. I still always think you have to reward yourself in business, right? You're working hard, your business makes money, you can do something, but you also have to remember you cannot take the block from below the tower.
Yeah.
The tower will fall, right? So be smart, take it at the right times, and then you get in a position where it'll come. Like, trust me, it'll come.
And what I would say, when I had my shift and positive mindset, I looked at your success and I used that as my fuel. What I see happening with students and stuff, they'll see their friend down the street and they're maybe not going so well, and instead of following a successful person, they'll get sucked in by listening to them, and they'll follow them, and next thing you know, they're getting really emotional and negative and worried about someone that's not working for.
It's just very much like glass half full, glass half empty.
You have that choice.
What way do you look at it?
You have a choice who to try and focus on. So I made that choice to focus on someone that was doing well. I seen this, if it's doing well for Ryan, I'll make it fucking work for me.
I can do this.
100%.
I can do this.
See, going back to what you had said there, and it came into my head there now, what you were talking about about not giving up and how do you deal with it. You were saying that you go home at night and there's fires in your head, and how do you always figure it out? It goes back to the jealousy, envy, and the hate that comes along with that. See, when I'm lying in bed at night, I think about every single name and every single list who has ever talked shit about me. The pain, the suffering, all the friends that I lost, all the friends that turned their back against me. I use that as fuel though. See, to figure out a problem out, I think of that person. That's whatever it is. You look at Michael Jordan, and he used to always make things up in his head to go and
just get that extra edge.
Like
extra
to
edge.
give you something.
David Goggins has a playlist of all the negative comments he has, and he just listens to it and goes out to run.
But 100%, and I've seen me lying in bed, Darren, like, you've went through too much pain and suffering. You've went through too much that this isn't going to work. Like, figure it out. I've seen myself lying in bed and doing this and doing that, and literally getting that's it.
Yeah.
And I've seen me race down to the laptop at 4 o'clock in the morning time, send an email or do something or change something. And it's like, but every single time I do that, I'm not thinking about the problem. I'm thinking about something there in the back end that somebody has called me a scammer, Ponzi schemmer, and people could have. That was the biggest thing as well. People could have doubted Amazon FBA. That was very, very new. Don't doubt me.
Yeah.
Don't doubt me.
Yeah.
If you doubted me, that was the
personal.
hardest thing for me. Was thinking, how could anyone who truly knows me? Because I can understand the hate coming from people who didn't know me.
Yeah.
You don't really know me. Like, you have your opinion, and that's okay. Come and have a conversation with me, just 10 minutes. Just talk to me as a human being. You'll leave that conversation, you'll feel inspired, you'll feel motivated, and you'll know for firsthand that I can't help everybody in this world. We can't help everybody in this world, but I will make sure that I help you the best as I can.
Yeah, that's the thing. I know you'd never, if someone's product doesn't do well, you haven't scammed them. You've done everything in your power. You care. That one failure, it's not even a failure, but that one product will annoy the life out of you.
Yeah.
If you were a scammer, you wouldn't give a fuck. But we know you do. You care probably too much at times.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's one thing.
Because you do try and help everybody. That's your nature, Darren. You're probably the most generous person I've ever came across in my life, and I think, as Jason says, it's probably good and a bad at time because you eat yourself up if you can't find a way. You know, if maybe something does get out of your hands, or you can't actually physically do anything about it, it's like, you know, it hurts. I
still wouldn't be where you're at yet. A big massive improvement, you know, of caring what people think. For example, sitting here doing this, I would have been, can't put that on social media. Who does this boy think he is? And I am now. I don't give a shit about that now. I don't give a fuck. Some boy sitting in the corner of the pub complaining about me doing a podcast in Dubai. Go ahead.
Think about that when you start.
Who cares?
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, work away. But I used to go be really insecure about that and let people in work let it hold me back, and I wouldn't have done this.
100%.
But now, yeah.
I think that's part as well, Jason. I think that's a lot of the growth that we've all came through the journeys that we've been on. That you get out of your comfort zone, right? You do things that you don't want to do. How many times do we talk about it? Get comfortable being uncomfortable. There's lessons in that.
But it was that weird, the fear of, I can't do that. As Darren always says, we Sally down the road will be, they'll be in saying, "Oh, did you see Jason and Ryan on a podcast?" I was worried. I did let that hold me back. I genuinely did.
Like, you say Sally and Henry and that, but do you want to know something? The people who talk the most shit about it, like, they're watching everything we're doing.
Yeah.
You know, you can see them there looking at your story, but they're not following you. And you hear it from this and that. Why are you so concerned? If you're not caring, if you don't care about Amazon, you don't even want to think about it. Why are you constantly looking at us what we're doing?
Yeah.
I'll tell you exactly why you are, because you want to do what we're doing, but you haven't the fucking balls to do it.
Someone like, oh, Darren does my head in. How do you know? You keep listening to him. Just to remove him, and you won't know. He won't be able to do your head in.
100%.
Yeah. But as I say, that's probably a level up. A level up, but I'm still nowhere near where I would like to be in that element.
Like,
I've not given a shit.
well, like, up until this point right now, you know, like the both of you, I know you'll probably have two different answers here, but if this was your last day on earth, Jason, as an entrepreneur, what would you want people to remind you, or what, you know, to think of you, or
Say, fuck, he had a good time. He had a good time. No, in seriousness, yeah, kind of us coming from your traits, that he was a grafter. He was resilient, and he done everything in his power to provide for his family and make sure that they have everything they ever wanted, no matter what it took, and had a good time on the way and doing it. I always, do you know me? I always put a fun element into everything. Probably sometimes a bit of a weakness, but I think it needs it. So yeah, I would like people to remember as a hard-working guy, but always brought a bit of light-hearted fun to it as well.
Awesome. What about you, Ryan?
I would probably like to have people to be inspired. I think that's quite a good one. I think if you go out to people to look up to you and think, God, you know what? We month Ballymena done all right. I think there's something nice about that.
Yeah.
Because see, for every single person that'll slabber and tell us that we're doing bad, there's another person out there that's absolutely fucking loves it
100%.
and are so inspired by what a couple of boys from a wee town in Northern Ireland are trying to do. Like, we talked about it, like, imagine trying to knock somebody for having a go. Like, that's just fundamentally wrong.
Yeah.
I would never ever let myself slip into that mindset again. And I think that again comes from knowing how hard entrepreneurship is, knowing the risks that we take, the decisions that we have to make day in, day out on our businesses and everything in between, to then go and knock somebody for doing the same. Like, I just would never ever let myself get like that again. So I guess if I had to sort of stop tomorrow, or like, you know, I went out at whatever level I go out, that people to maybe look up to me and think, do you know what, we ran done all right. I think that'd be nice.
Love that.
Awesome.
I think if you got it at that stage, you'd have made a good career out of it. Put it that way, you could
100%.
you could retire happily.
What about yourself, Darren? Reverse that round to you.
5 years, 10 years, 15 years from now, what I want people, or it's my last day on earth, I want people to know that I gave everything, not just to change my life and my family's life, that I made a lasting impact, that I was a massive part of the online boom in Northern Ireland, where like Darren Campbell was the guy that ultimately led, you know, opened the path for so many people to go and change their life by building a brand and have more time with their family and being inspired. And in terms of a legacy, you know, I'm very proud, I'm very grateful that what we won as a footballers, and Harbour Hummers, Junior Cups, league titles, like I'm so proud of that. But then whenever I realised that, you know, I look back on it, I thought to myself, I walked into Orlando, Florida, you know, when I went up into the Disney World. I put my 6 medals and my 3 Junior Cup medals over the counter and going, here, can I get in? He's going to look at me and say, big man, you're going to need them the dough there. I was given so much time, so much effort, so much energy into that, and now what I've done is I put this into this, and I want people to know that I gave everything and more. That you talk about being generous, like I have a big heart, but the reason why I have a big heart is because I've been through so much pain. And you probably, you know, I put myself out, I'm very vulnerable. I've lost a lot of friends, a lot of stuff you don't even know what problems in the business. You also see like maybe the hate comments, everything comes along with it, and every single time it's an eye dig to the stomach. And I don't want other people to feel it. I know what it's like. You become an entrepreneur, you know what it feels like. You want people to run your business down. You want people to run you down. Like, I'll never be that person. Like, publicly, you've never seen me do it. You know, I'll go up and put an Instagram post up or a Facebook post up, because all you're doing is showing you what's actually going on in your business. If you're running someone else down, it's never somebody that's above you.
I see a lot of that nowadays, even with fitness, social media guys.
Yeah, a lot
Most
of
of
content's
them,
all
their
bad about
content's
other
a dig
people.
about someone else's stuff.
Yeah.
Like, why?
How many times did we talk about it, Darren? You put out is what you'll get
100%.
back, right? And if you put out the right things, you make the right decisions, you be a good person, try and help people, stay with your integrity, all the things that we talk about comes full circle, all right? And that's what you will get. So if you're toxic, we talk the word toxic, I think it's a good word. If you're toxic to other people, you can maybe start seeing things like, it's funny how the word can work like that. I'm a big believer in that.
Even other Amazon sellers or PPC companies, they start their ad with a negative comment about something else, somebody else's. So that's straight away to me, that's like, mine isn't going great, I need to keep people in, so I'm going to have to take them off this person.
100%. It's not a balancing mindset. And listen, transparently, we're trying to build the biggest and baddest brand building company in the world, and that's just not helping people build brands, but a community. But what do you think sets us apart from anywhere else in the world for what we do?
I think I know. I don't even think. I think I know is we care. I have seen other online spaces, and again, I'm not running them down, and I wouldn't actively do that there, but they are a program, and it's like, I've joined some programs where you go in and it's like, the support, it's like you're just a number. You're just you made a payment and then you're forgot about, and things like that. There, I would like to think the difference, and probably why I also think we've been so successful so quickly, is that community of that care, of that support, of that support network, of you actually, you're part of a family, you're part of a, do you know what I mean? You're part of the team. You're like that feeling that you're not on your own. I think a lot of other times, even like, you get a lot of online fitness classes and things, you're accountable for the work you do, and you're always accountable on your own end. But I would like to think you've got a team here and a network that sort of helps you with that accountability, that you can share problems with and stuff like
and
that.
The community, I love the community side of it. Do you know what even we're planning? Gala awards, master classes,
masterminds,
sorry. Yeah, that's all ahead of us, and that community spirit is.
Yeah, I'm really excited for that.
I'm excited for that.
Do you know what sets us, I believe, from anywhere else, not just in Northern Ireland, UK, and the world? We're legit as fuck. We're real. What we do works incredibly well. We do care. We have massive integrity. That's the numbers you know in our business, that if something has happened outside of our control, like we even still try to we do take account, like we need, and it's not like, a lot of people will say, well, that's not our responsibility, and a lot of businesses do that, but we try our best to try and find the problem, and
like that's not common. Like,
no way.
Do you know what I mean? Like that's what I do. Like, I genuinely do think it sets us. We're sort of different.
Yeah,
I think better. Like, that obviously I think better, but I think it's that real caring and that integrity and that legit as fuck's a good way of looking at it.
Like, and people say launching a product or building a brand. Like, people have to understand, they join the FBA Brand Builder. Like, we want so many people in, which is great, and we'll obviously help them change their life. But don't think for 1 minute, anyone watching this there, that like you're doing us a favour.
Yeah.
Like, are people looking at that? They're getting the money in there and doing that. We have thousands of people who will be part of the FBA Brand Builder, and we know the people that we want. Like, transparently, we want to also be able to be your friends. We also want to be, help you grow. Like, I don't want to be standing beside somebody and knowing that they're running me down, or you're not giving 110%, and like they're complaining constantly. In terms of making the money on investment, go elsewhere. But one thing I'll say about us is that there will be people through the FBA Brand Builder. We will help them build $1 million brands, and they will sell their brand for millions, and that fulfillment from all of us will be like nothing.
What did we say in the beginning, Darren? All we needed was time. All we needed was time, and time's a big thing in business. Patience is a great word.
Big thing, I love that you say is that there was all the excuses and the buts, but the buts are run out.
Yeah.
You keep seeing success stories, and they'll say, like, for every 1 or 2 products are not successful, there's 10, 15, 20 people who are.
Yeah.
And like that's the thing I'm most proud of, is our success rate. Like, it really is, and we have it. Look, we all make mistakes, and we're a small company. Look at Amazon, Tesla, all these big companies in the very, very beginning. Look to where they're at now, and like we have aspirations of being like that. And I have no doubt we will, because we believe it, most importantly. And we're real.
Yeah.
You have to believe it, man. You have to see the vision, trust the vision, and
if you don't believe, what's the point?
Yeah.
There is no point.
If
you don't believe, there's no point.
Well, I've just got one last question for the both of you. We'll finish. It's been great. It really has. It's been just nice to talk, and a lot of people hopefully will be able to relate to this and being raw, being authentic, and I'm sure a lot of people will look at it as well. Like, who do them boys think they are?
Yeah,
I think of the question. Who wouldn't think we're anybody? We're just being real and authentic, and hopefully you relate. But the question I have is that if someone's watching this here and they're thinking of starting a business or thinking of starting a brand with us, the FBA Brand Builder, and going on and changing their life with us, and they're at the very beginning of their journey, they haven't pulled the trigger, or they have pulled the trigger, but what would be the piece of advice you would give them in the very, very beginning of their journey?
Do it. And I know that's an easy answer, right? But there's with anything comes, like, there's risk with anything, right? I always ask the question to myself whenever I started to doing this, and I remember talking to Ryan. Honestly, finances was a wee bit. It's going to be a lot of money for me in the beginning, in the role I was in. And Ryan, I got talking to Ryan, my partner, and he was going to be doing it. And Ryan said to me, "I'm doing this either with you or without you. I want to do it with you, but I'm going to find a way. I want to do this." And I thought, right, okay, wow. And then going over and speaking to my wife and said to my wife, if I don't do this and he does it, and he is where we are now,
I had
how the hell would I ever live with myself? I would jump off a bridge somewhere, right? Because, like, I would have, like, oh my God, I can't believe I've done it. And in that time, I would have just loved somebody just to have sat me down and say, go for it. Just do it. If you want to do it, do it. Make your decision and go full steam ahead. That would be the advice.
And that brings me to where I was, where I think it was my mum or someone said, "That's risky." Sure, if it was that easy, why does not everyone not do it?
Heard that one plenty.
Yeah, you'll get that all the time, and it's not easy. But what I answered in terms of the risk, it was more riskier for me to stay where I was and the life that I was living, because I was going down to, like, gambling and addiction. That was staying there was riskier for me than taking the risk to start a business. So for me, there was no risk, if that makes sense. It was a very risky thing to do, but it was riskier to stay where I was. So in the end, it was a no-brainer for me. So I hope someone thinks like that. So even my worst case scenario now would be going back to where I was.
100%.
So I haven't lost out on anything.
You start.
So I start. It went bad. I go back to the start where I was. So I'm no further back from where I was.
Exactly.
So to me, it's risky. But if you think in that mindset, it's not as risky as you think.
If you don't do anything, nothing changes.
Yeah, 100%.
Right. So if you're happy and content and you're fine, then that's okay. But
that's
if
okay
you're wanting
too.
changes in life, and if you're wanting to go and you've got to get comfortable being uncomfortable.
That's the thing we always say. There's people in their 9-to-5 job, they have a good job, and that's brilliant. Not everyone's as hungry as us and wants different things. So yeah, if that's where you're at, we're not saying that's a bad thing.
Yeah, I agree.
If you're in a nice 9-to-5 job and you're happy and content, I'm happy to you.
But if you've got them aspirations to
want more,
you've got to make something
then
happen.
You have to take a risk, or nothing will ever change.
And I suppose my advice then would be for anyone who's in the very beginning of their journey is thinking of starting. Time's going to pass by in 2 years, 3 years, 4 years anyway.
Exactly.
No matter if they do something or they don't. So, like, if you're watching this here, just fucking do it. Transparent. It doesn't have to be building a brand on Amazon. Go do something online.
I agree with that too.
Go and start and do it, because say, for instance, you're wanting to go and do a degree, wherever it is, and it takes, Jason, you've done it 3 or 4 years. You come out, you get your degree, you make 40 or 50 or 60 grand a year, and you're in debt. Now, in 2 or 3 or 4 years from now, that's going to be the bare minimum living to live. You start a business, you start a brand. Where are you going to be 3 or 4 years from now if you don't give up? Because you get a degree, you don't have to give up. So what's the difference in the business and the brand? It's not give up. So, like, what I would say on that, however, whenever you start, you go in with a heart that you're doing this and you're stopping for nothing, because you have everything you want because you started and you never gave up. And you had many turn back moments. You were the exact same, probably even more than Turbo. And you didn't. And you now are sitting here in a $60 million house, a villa in the middle of Palm Jumeirah, sitting across business partners and multiple things, not just outside our brands. But I'm telling you now, if you start and you ultimately do it with people who have been there, have done it, went through the pain and suffering, people who genuinely care, you will have everything you want in this life and more.
Yeah, for sure.
Couldn't agree anymore. Said perfectly.
But boys, it's been an absolute pleasure. As I said, you two have been a big part of my life, and as I said, I want them to see the real yous, and I think once they see this, they'll understand that why we became so successful in such a short space of time. And just want to say a massive thank you.
We could talk deeper all night, but that'll do. So
No, that was deep.
we
I
could,
enjoyed
we
that.
could go even more. Like we could, if we really wanted to go. But
I suppose then we'll finish with one last thing.
Let's
Yeah,
go.
let's go.